Welcome to another edition of the Joe Judge Report, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Bob Popper with New York Giants head coach Joe Judge. Before we take a look at some plays, what's the message to the team after a heartbreaker like that?
Yeah, the message is always the same thing. There's things we have to clean up. There's good football to build on, and we got to come back to work the next week. Every week we're going to go 1-0. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. Whatever happened the week before is going to be irrelevant against the next team. We got to take what we can build on, keep building on it. We got to correct the mistakes.
All right, so Philadelphia has a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. You put together a pretty decent drive. Forced to punt, special teams pins Philadelphia. So now it's 3rd and 9 at their own 11-yard line.
Yeah, so we're going to go back to complementary football. So we really have a 3-play sequence right here that tie in, the defense to the special teams to the offense. And as you alluded to a second ago, it all started with the offense, giving the ball to the punt team in position to go ahead and create some field positions. Now we have a 3rd and 9 situation and a backed up towards our own end zone situation. So we're looking for right here. It's 3rd and 9. You want to get some kind of pressure on the quarterback, not let them sit back there all day and develop those long routes down the field to give them a chance for a first down. You got to hold up on coverage. You can play man or zone. A lot of teams will play more zone in this situation with the longer yardage. When you go man, it can create more one-on-one matchups that then all of a sudden the quarterback picks out one guy, throws it down the field, and creates a big chunk play. In this situation here, Pat had a zone call in here, and really what I want to highlight right now is the pressure up front that kind of sets the whole thing up. So just the ability to use your players in different ways. We're going to highlight Jabril right here. Pep playing defensive back, a lot of times he's in coverage. We bring him in the box for run support. But then different times you want to use those guys for certain kind of pressures on the quarterback to change up who's coming and keep them guessing right there. So what we get right here is a good job just stemming late to it right here. And we'll put ourselves in the front with a little bit of disguise. All right, and then it's all going to come back to the base principles, all right, of the pass rush. And we talked a couple weeks ago about having the elements of the pass rush. So we're going to see you always need to have contain rushers, some kind of a middle push, and some kind of a secondary contain to scrape and make sure we keep it right on the quarterback inside. And we're going to have all the elements of that right here. And from the side view, what you can see right here is the zone drops of the defense, taking away the windows for the offense on these deeper routes and giving the front a chance to get home on the rush. So if you pause it right there, you've got the zone coverage behind right here. So we've got the deep players over top. You've got the low players in the windows there. And these windows really closing off all these over routes coming across right there that they've got to throw in front of our man that we can break on the ball. Or as you keep the vision of the quarterback right there, you want to make sure you can break and close off these windows to take away the easy throws. Now, the zone buys you a little bit of time up front, but up front they got to go ahead and get home. You can see right here, there's some disruption in it. We'll come back to the back end and talk about Leonard and how these all fit together. But you can see the end result right here just with great effort of Pep getting in there and getting them on the ground. Now we'll go to the back end and tie together the pass rush of how it all ties together. We got a couple different bodies in there than we've had in the past few weeks, so it's the further development of our players always really working for. So you got Blake Martinez right here lined up, our middle linebacker on the edge right there. Kyler Fackrell's been more of an edge player. You got Harp right here that's showing here. Pep's going to disguising right there. And then inside, you got Leonard and you got Cam Brown. So Cam's a young guy, has been playing real well on special teams for us, has earned his chance to be more of an edge rusher for us. What we're going to see on this scheme right here is we want to work kind of a different front of bodies in different places and get to the pressure with the elements we want to have every time. So what we're going to have right here is when the ball turns over, now we're going to go ahead and transfer in and have our contain rusher with Fackrell right there. We're going to have a contain rusher right here with Cam. We're going to have our middle push right here with Leo. And then Pep's going to insert right here. And he's really working off of Leo as that secondary contain to play off that quarterback right there. So what we're looking for right here is just good penetration inside, first off, to push the pocket and disrupt. So you watch Leo right there, and he's definitely done that and created the penetration here. That's going to give Carson a tough time stepping up in it. Now you look at the edges, the first thing he thinks when he gets the pressure inside is abort this thing and go outside. You see as he starts to work outside right here, there's Cam to contain it, flushing back inside. There's Pep as a secondary rusher, inserting to make the play right here. And then between Pep and then Cam in pursuit, just doing a good job getting them on the ground and making a nice play right there.
So the Giants get the sack by Jabril Peppers, and now Coach Special Teams does their part on the very next play.
Yeah, so again, complementary football, all three phases have to work together. And Jabril just had the sack on this play. We talk him all the time. You want an opportunity on 4th down and get himself to field on 3rd down. You get a chance to go ahead and take a swing in the bat and the back end as a returner. We'll get him in right here. This is a backed up punt situation. So as an offense, really what you want to protect in backup situation is you want to keep that ball really outside your 4-yard line. And the reason being is, all right, the base landmark for most punters in their alignment in the National Football League is right at that 14-yard mark. So if you can put the ball on the 3-yard line and keep this guy's operation short than it normally needs to be, that puts stress on the protection up front and keeps them in a little bit tighter and longer. They can't get out there and get in the coverage quite as fast. further down you get to the 2-yard line or 1-yard line, just more stress it puts on the operation here. Now, because you know you're in a position right here on the 4-yard line where they're backed up, they're thinking heavy on the protection, it gave us the opportunity in a 4th and long situation to call a double vice return. So that's 2 vices on the gunners. Remember, they're the first ones that can release off the line of scrimmage on the snap. So they're the most important guys to get. You don't want to do double vice too many times in midfield situations or 4th and short situations because you've got 8 guys in the box right here to run a fake if they want to against 6 guys right here. So you've got to pick and choose when you're going to put that on the field and calculate what the risk is. Now, that all being said, you still always have a player like a Nate Ebner and your edge players who have fake responsibility in case they tried something on the back end right there. So you're still playing with a defensive mentality until that ball is exchanged. Now, we're going to start on the side right here and just highlight the vice on the gunners. And the whole play is going to hinge on being able to eliminate these guys who are the best cover guys on their team from getting down there and stopping Pep before he has a chance to get going with it right here. So we're going to work on both sides. Now, both these gunners are going to outside release. Some gunners will release punt direction. So if Johnson was working this thing to our left, a lot of teams may inside release there and outside release there to put him on a path to the ball. Now, Philly's a team that when they get double vice, their philosophy is they're going to outside release the majority of the time, take the gunners out of there, and philosophy to think, clear some of this traffic right here, get them out of the way, and then let the box go ahead and clear and get free lanes down the field and make a tackle. They see it as if they inside release here, he may cut off some guys releasing right there and create some traffic and creates a lane for the returner. There's different schools of thought to that, but that's something that Philly does a good bit of it, and they're pretty sound at what they do, so it works for them a lot of times. Now, what we're getting a good job of down here is watching Harp on the release versus the outside release. He's doing a good job right there of delaying and turn them back into his help right here with the inside player. Now, he does a really nice job that once that gunner gains outside momentum and runs through the white, we can't contact him in that white once he gets out of bounds. And he's got to take a direct angle down the field that his angle shows re-entry the entire way. Once he flattens out and runs parallel to the sideline, that's a 15-yard penalty. All right, so they've got to show that re-entry. We've got to make sure we take the right angle down the field with Harp right here, that when they try to re-enter, we can keep him boxed out by playing that low hip. And these two are just playing off each other the entire way down the field in kind of a piggyback situation where you take him, then I'll fold over and I'll take him as you finish with him. Up top, we get more of the same right here and really some good technique. He's going to release hard outside, and a lot of the gunners try to fight to get to the white. And ideally what you want to do is go ahead and cut them off, not let them get outside. But it's a really good job right here of Julian Love of once the gunner gets outside in the white, of playing good for the low hip, and then on the re-entry, taking a shot and knocking him down right there. So it's a clean, legal hit. It's a good job being physical. He knows he's got to come in at that point. He takes an angle that he can't cut in underneath him right there and get entry to Pep right here going to the ball. So by keeping him out right here, it creates a situation where Pep has a chance to go ahead and get vertical. Now, the other things that come into play here is it's a miss-hit ball. All right, so Johnson doesn't hit a clean punt. You got to be calculated on the back end of how you field this. First off, you have to be smart and aware and peek on the back end. Do I have time to play the ball off the ground and off the bounce? Now, what we generally speak of is play it off the first bounce. Once you get in that second and third bounce, the ball does funky things, and you don't ever want to have the ball play you. So generally speaking, our returners look to play it off the first bounce. All right, Pep does a really good job right here of seeing it. You know, Johnson mishits it with some of the pressure in his face, but there's the bounce right there. One, comes right to Pep with a clean field, and what he's thinking right now is get vertical. Gain as many vertical yards as you can. The number one goal for the punt returner is get the ball back to the offense, clean possession. The number two goal is gain a first down. We want a 10-yard return every time we get it, just to go ahead and take one more first down off the offense. So Pep does a good job right here, fielding this thing cleanly off the first bounce, and then gets vertical for 14 yards. So by stealing that right there, all right, we're going to start the offense on the 39-yard line right there. So in good position, close to that fringe area we talk about all the time, just outside the red area. And on the back end, you just see it again. There's Nate dropping. Neither gunner's in the window just yet. That means it's a good job right there outside by the vice. And then Pep right here, again, fielding that thing clean off the bounce. Good one cut right there. Good ball security. And now we can put the offense on the field in good field position.
All right, so we've seen a sack on defense, then the corresponding punt and the return by Jabril Peppers. And now, Coach, your offense takes a shot.
Yeah, so the job now is to finish it. You know, special teams put the defense down there. Defense did their job, got them off the field. We took advantage of a backed-up punt situation, gave the offense ball on the 39-yard line. Now the offense has to go ahead and complement the situation by finishing with points on the board. And that's always the goal, points at the end of every drive. We always say end the drive with a kick. Whether it's an extra point, a field goal, or a punt, they're all good in terms. We want to have less punts than extra points and field goals, but you want to end with a kick. All right, now, good shot right here. We're just going to see a shot play right here. It's really going to go ahead and isolate Golden on Cravion LeBlanc right down the seam right there. It ends up being a touchdown we all saw on TV. But the elements that go into it, and it's all going to start up front. Again, it's a passing league. It all goes through the quarterback to start. And the things Daniel has to have go through his head, all right, pre-snap with identifying not just what it looks like here, but where the pieces are moving to right here. And really, the safeties are the ones that tell you the biggest story. Corners can lie to you. They can start up, they can bail out, they can start back, they can come up and trap you. But safeties can't lie to you. When the ball turns over, they've got to be in position to play responsibility. So if you're a deep field player, when that ball turns over, you got to get to deep field. If you're a low box player, when that ball turns over, you got to get down into the box to play responsibility. So the identification and recognition, not only of what these safeties on the back end are doing, but also of confirming maybe if he has a hot route or what the rush may be doing or something he has to be keyed on, of seeing a lot of things in split-second action right there. And Daniel is really developing and doing a good job for us in that action there. Now, the protection up front hinges off the communication between Daniel and Nick Gates of identifying who the Mike linebacker is. So when you talk about protections, it's never as simple as just guys line up and blocking who they want to block. Right. It all starts based on identification of the Mike linebacker, and that's kind of the starting point for everybody else to know relationship-wise who they're blocking in that protection. It tells the offensive line that they have. It tells the tight end if he's involved with a chip or a stand protection. It tells the back who he has as well. So everyone needs to hear that communication, and Nick and Daniel are getting a lot better at it as the season goes on. A lot of continuity between those two, a lot of chemistry really developed in that position. We're pleased with the progress we're getting right there. Now, protection up front right here. I'm going to highlight this really from the side view before we even talk about, anything else. But just seeing when Daniel throws this ball, the room he has right there and the comfort level of stepping in that pocket, all right, and stepping into that pass and delivering a good strike. And you see right here, they had the speed rushes off the edge on Cam and Andrew, and both guys do a good job of running these guys wide right here to keep Daniel protected inside. And then we talk about being firm inside with the guards and the tackles, so Daniel has room to step up and deliver a good, strong, accurate ball. Both guys doing a good job right there on the edges, the speed rushes, and the inside right there, all right, with Kevin, Will, and Nick, really giving us a good pocket throwing right there.
Coach, a question for you. Once Mills, the safety, comes out of that too deep and comes in, and that other safety kind of stays to Slayton's side, is Daniel thinking my best matchup is probably this one right here?
Yeah, so that's the whole thing I was going to get to right there, Bob, is as far as seeing the safeties, what they're doing pre-snap. So even though, Daniel's peeking out there right now.
I'm learning from you.
Yeah, there you go, man. He's identifying the Mike, okay? He's knowing what's going on. But then when he starts seeing the movement of the safeties coming down the box right here, and once he sees them come in, at this point here, there's no rotation behind. So if he was stacked right here, you would expect him going because he could cover over top right here. Once he gets inside, normally most teams won't fire him because if you go ahead and run a quick little out route, he's out of position to really play that. Not saying that it won't happen, it does sometimes, but most teams won't play that, and you have to know the tendencies of it. All right, now on the back end, you want to spy and see if he's rotating down to go ahead and take the tight end, and he's playing man-to-man right there, what's he doing? Is he cheating over here to our two-receiver side, or is he staying deep over top to Slayton, who's had production on one-on-one matchups in recent games right there? And what we see right here is on the pass, watching the safety rotation, all right, he stays on that side of the hash, knowing that he's going to be in position more to take that deep field away from Darius on the deep route, but where it leaves him vacant is the one-on-one matchup right there in the seam, all right, with Golden on Cravion right there. Now,
and does Jones looking that way freeze that safety just enough so that if he was going to get over, now he's not getting there?
Absolutely. And what the really good quarterbacks do is they use the look off to come back to who they want to go to. So while he's doing one thing right here, again, you see the peak right away on post snap. Daniel looks out there, kind of confirms what he's getting. It's a very quick look. All right, and then he gets his eyes back to the other side to check Darius, but also confirm where the safety's at. He sees him jump over top. There's his one-on-one matchup. Now it just comes into two guys making a play, right? Good throw, tough catch, and then finish it right there. And we'll go to the back end and kind of highlight a little bit more of it. So again, we'll pick back up right here with the communication part right here. And as Daniel's in there, we talk about that Mike communication right there. So you see Daniel and Nick both saying 49's the Mike. That's going to put the protection all on the same page. Everyone knows who they have right there. It tells Devontae right there who he has in the protection before getting out. And you hear Evan right there knowing who the Mike linebacker is. Tells him his responsibility on the play as well. All right, so as we put this together right here, again, just starting with the protection is always important. Just seeing, again, the highlight of that pocket right there we're getting with good firm protection inside. And then there's those outside rushes who are no longer a factor. Good firm pocket right here, and Daniel can go ahead and deliver a strong ball right there, which is what we're looking for. But again, watching Daniel's eyes and how he puts it together right here, of all the things he has to process in a split second, boom, right now, just that little peek right there tells him what he's looking for. Confirm the safety down the field, holds him with his eyes, and then comes back and makes the throw. And this is just a heck of a shot right here of Golden going up and really making a play. It's good, tight coverage. You know, you get asked all the time, you know, hey, you got to put in the window in the NFL that is open or that is covered based on what they do with the ball. Daniel gives him a chance by throwing him a high ball right there where only he can really go up and get it. And Golden does a heck of a job right here of securing it with a strong catch, playing through, and then running through the arm tack right there as Crayon's going to the ground and makes a nice play for us.
Coach, great stuff as always. A window into what really happens on each and every play. Thank you very much and good luck next week.
Thanks, Bob.